up, guys? Mediocre PC Gaming here. I'm back with another Diablo video, and this is a little discussion video as to why I do not like the Raycore, or the Immortal King and Raycore Charge Barb solo pushing build. Now, I love the Raycore Charge Barb for support, but in terms of solo pushing, I just actually can't stand this build. I thought I really liked it because it was the first build that I pushed to 75 with, but I revisited it and I was like, I know this isn't the most powerful build for Barbs. It's easily trumped by Leapquake and Whirlwind, but I just want to see how far I can take this build. And I got a few, mostly ancient pieces actually, and I got a few level 80 augments on my gear, about 80, and I'm still struggling to push to 75 with this build, whereas I easily pushed to 77 with Leapquake. But I mean, the point of this video isn't to talk about just how bad Raycore is compared to the other sets, but just how to make it a little bit more fun and maybe more competitive and at least more functional. So I got, three main complaints here with Raycore, or with the Charge Barb set in general. I guess it's more so Immortal King's based because I'm using IK6. But my first complaint with this build would be that it's just too squishy. There's no damage reduction built into the set, so you've got to get pretty much all your damage reduction really comes through, 50% of it is Call of the Ancients, and the rest of it is Ancient Parthian Defenders in density. And as you can see, when you're not in density, you're going to get one shot by pretty much just about anything here, which is why it makes it really hard to fight Rift Guardians, which it should be tough to fight Rift Guardians with this build because this build does so well in density, but I still think it's just a little bit too squishy. I think there should be some kind of damage reduction either built into Raycore or Immortal King set. And then the second point would be the functionality of the build is lost when you're trying to fight pretty much 3 or fewer enemies. You're not getting enough cooldown to reset a charge if you're hitting, depending on how much cooldown reduction. If you're hitting 3 enemies, you might be okay, but if you're hitting 2, you're basically just losing charges. And I don't think that you should lose out on the functionality of the build just because you're trying to fight 2 little enemies. I think you should lose out on the damage, which is what happens already. So you're greatly hindered when trying to fight, a pack of 3 blue elites. Because if you get 1 down and you're fighting 2, you basically just can't complete that fight unless you bring some trash in, which isn't always an option, so you might end up having to skip that pack entirely after getting, one of them down. So, you're already losing out on damage, so I don't think you should lose out on the functionality of the set. So I think if you're hitting 2 or fewer enemies, you should definitely be reset a charge instead of 1 or fewer. I think it would balance out the set without, that change alone wouldn't make the set overpowered at all. I think at the least it would just make it more functional. And lastly, I think Immortal Kings is kind of a useless set. You get a good amount of utility out of it, but it's a set made to buff other sets, which I don't see the point of that. I think it should be a unique set that can function on its own, and maybe buff other skills that we currently don't use, like Overpower or let's see what others. Another skill. Maybe it can buff generators. It could be the Fury generator build for Barb. I know there's a few of them at the moment, attack speed based Barbs, but I haven't looked into it. But regardless, I think Immortal Kings is a little bit of a rework. What it does now is almost enough, but I think it should be a set that can function on its own as well, not just help buff other sets. So those are my points on just why I don't like the solo pushing Barb. I'm also kind of bad at Raycore, admittedly. I do like it because it takes a high skill cap. You've really got to get good at it, where I think Leapquake is probably the easiest build that I've played just about ever. So this one definitely takes more skill, but that's about all I got to say on this. Until my next video, I will see you guys later.